Ace died in '92, May 28th. He was playing basketball across the street in the park over there, and two individuals came in and shot him. Shot him like 5 times for no apparent reason. And Spanky died a day before him, and he died just on a standby, you know. He was just standing there, they started shooting, and it happened, you know, to be meant for him.
In the street full of crime, our young brothers don't think at the time. Guns, drugs, a battlefield we web when we consider our own bloodshed. Now, the innocent pay the toll with their lives out of control. In God's hands, now we rest, hoping and praying there won't be a next.
You can somewhat control your destiny. You don't have to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, you don't have to go deal drugs. You don't have to do these negative things, you know. 9 times out of 10, it all starts and ends with you. You bring your own destiny upon yourself.
You're gonna be a drug addict, a drug dealer, a cell. This is where you're gonna wind up at. This is where we're gonna remember you.
This wall shows the consequence of drugs in our society.
These are warnings on a large scale, in-your-face information about what can happen.
I trampled the streets in quest of one thing, to get high. It didn't matter in which form I used, drinking, smoking, or sniffing it to my brain. My destiny remained the same. The fascination of living life in the so-called fast lane. Say no to drugs and fulfill your dreams. And that's basically for the children in this school to read and get inspired by. And if it just touches one person, it was all worthwhile.
When news travels slowly, how do citizens make sense of times that try a nation's soul? The drumbeats of dissatisfaction are heard around the colonies. It is January of 1776. More than 400 pamphlets are circulating, each with different information. Philadelphia printer Robert Bell readies yet another pamphlet. This one written by activist Tom Paine. Paine advocates independence. He reasons why it is only common sense for America to part from Britain. The pamphlet is daring, even treasonous. What does King George III know of the colonies? Paine wrote, "There is something exceedingly ridiculous in the composition of monarchy. It first excludes a man from the means of information, yet empowers him to act where the highest judgment is required."
Government, like dress, is the badge of lost innocence. Good. I like it. I like it.
Oh, good day, sir.
Good day to you. Oh, so here it is. How much is...
Oh, 1 shilling, sir.
Common Sense was an immediate bestseller, selling 100,000 copies in just 2 months. Word traveled fast. In 56 editions, Paine's words transformed the temper of the times from confusion to unity. Let each of us hold out a hand to his neighbor in hearty friendship and bury in forgetfulness every former dissension. Let us be virtuous supporters of the rights of man and of free and independent states of America.
Okay, that's good. But you're still missing a corner. It fell apart off of your tape, off of your bread. So bring it back up. No, bring it back up and around.
While democracy needs news, interchange, it depends on listening.
Spread it to your right. Not up, not up. You're going off the bread. Or your right. You got a whole glob of it at the top of the bread.
No, that's Adam.
Information is useful only when it's clearly communicated and is clearly understood. These kids in Iowa are making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Besides having a good time, they may learn something about the value of sending and receiving information.
Together for the
Right, no, that's
yeah, there you go. We're done.
Want to go a little lower?
The bread.
Bring.
No,
going
you're
off the
missing.
bread.
You're missing.
Okay.
No, other direction.
All right, you got it.
Yeah, there we go. We're done.
In terms of the peanut butter and jelly exercise, one person had to listen, one person had to do all the talking. And they sensed a lot of the frustration when they couldn't do both. There was not a dialogue.
Okay.
You're not in control at all. You don't have any control over what you're doing. I mean...
I have total power.
Yeah.
And then reversing roles and realizing what responsibility comes along with power.
Now get some jelly and put it on the bread that you just put down. Yeah, spread it that way. So put the knife down. Okay, go back to the bread.
The idea of listening and the idea of communicating effectively is really what it all boils down to in order for people to get along better, especially in a country where we are so diverse.
Okay.
It's messy business, making sense of what we need to know. It's even tougher when everyone wants a say.
To a company that drills oil out of the land and promotes
like
not
two
using
companies
solar.
out there
I'll tell you like
who are
5
that way.
foundations
But the money's still coming from the same source. How is it?
Wait a second. Everybody shut up. Hold on. Everybody shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
We're just really close.
There's no way we're going to agree on everything.
In meetings, when you have multiple people with strong personalities and a lot of opinions and perspectives on things, it's hard for everyone to feel heard sometimes. And hand signals were developed as a means of communication that did not involve speaking.
This sign basically means I want to be heard. I have something to say on the subject.
This is a sign that says, I have a proposal to make in the meeting.
This is a sign that I really like, one of the best, because it shows that you agree with somebody else.
This symbol means I have a major revelation, and it takes precedence.
It's time to get on track. Look at what we tell people. We say, boycott, use your money wisely. You know, don't.
One of the good habits that we've tried to develop is don't interrupt people. Let them finish. Let people complete their thoughts. Listen to them. Don't be busy thinking about what you're going to say next. Actually hear what they're saying, because that might affect what you're going to say next.
This group of students in Santa Cruz, California, working on environmental issues, found that their meetings often ran on endlessly or broke down in the process. They needed a better way to communicate. Information in a democracy often travels on 2 tracks, what the speaker has to say and what the group has to say about it. Still, face-to-face democracy is not always the answer.
I was homeless, a full-time homeless person, and I would go to the library and read books and magazines, and I saw the library terminal there. It said Penn, and it said that it was for free. And so I signed up, and then I started logging on.
Penn is sort of like an electronic town hall. You can access it from home or any of the public terminals that we put in around the city, and the libraries and places like that. You can send messages to the city council members or any number of city staff, police department, fire department, places like that, just to get information. And you can post things on bulletin boards, ask questions, receive answers.
Penn allowed me access to start really coming out with what I felt as a homeless person.
When somebody comes onto Penn, I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're Republican, Democrat, whether they rent or own a condominium, or where they're coming from, employed or unemployed, homeless or not. And I think that's kind of neat. You only will know what they tell you. There's a wealth of information there. A lot of people with a lot of information and life experiences and working experiences, and it's wonderful to pick their brains and use that information for the city.
Homeless people came onto the Penn system using the public terminals and talked about what they really needed in their lives to get off the street. And they said, we need showers, we need washers, we need lockers. There's no way to get a job if you don't have a way to clean up and leave your stuff someplace. And yes, there are homeless people who want to work and who can't because they don't have those essential things. We got together on Penn. We talked about how we could provide those things as a community. And sure enough, over the period of months, we came up with a plan and took it to the city council. And that plan is now in effect, and Swashlock exists because of Penn.
Swashlock is the name of the city's shower, washer, and locker program for the homeless.
The conversation started in a way that could never have happened without Penn. Namely, we listened to what homeless people were saying about their own situation. If those same people had come up to us on the street and said, look, I don't want a quarter, but I want a place to take a shower and have a washer and store my stuff in a locker, we would have given them the quarter and walked on. Because it was on Penn, we ignored all the usual social cues and went instead with the content of the message, that this is what the homeless people in Santa Monica were lacking. We heard that and we acted on it.
Information is a two-way street that must always be kept open so that we have a chance to govern ourselves and in turn be heard.
Before I started logging on to Penn, when I was homeless, I tended not to participate as much in city politics because I didn't have access. I could never think of myself going to a commission meeting and saying, I want to talk about homelessness. Are you going to give me time? I just didn't dream that that could happen. Now, it's happening all of the time. I found my public voice through Penn.